Gunfire hammered the ridge. The sound rattled teeth and bones. Dust leaped from shattered stone. Rounds snapped past like angry hornets. The mountain air tasted of cordite and dry earth. Her ears rang. Mud clung to her boots, despite the slope being mostly rock. She moved anyway, low and fast, hugging the broken wall of a shepherd's hut. The hut had no roof left, only scorched beams and a prayer flag torn to threads. She was known on the roster as Hale. Few used her first name. Sweat ran into her eyes. She blinked away and checked the magazine with steady hands. Across the wadi, enemy fighters flanked through scrub. She saw the glint of a scope. She felt the tug of instinct that came from hours on a range and nights on windy hills. She shoved Private Noah flat and took the shot. The glint vanished. The distant rifle fell quiet. "You saved me," Noah gasped. He was barely 20. He carried a photograph in his left breast pocket, a grandmother in a blue scarf. "Keep your head down," Hale said. "Count the rounds. Breathe." A mortar thumped from somewhere below. The shell wailed up through the thin air. Hale dragged Noah and a wounded radio man into the hut. The round fell short. The blast threw gravel like hail. Fragments slapped the wall and rattled inside the hearth. The radio man groaned, clutching a bandaged thigh. Hale pressed the tourniquet higher and tighter while the mountain spat echoes back at them. Colonel Liam crawled in through the gap where a door had once hung. His beard was flecked with dust. Calm eyes, dark and clear. He had led them on mountain trails and through alleyways that smelled of jasmine and diesel. Now his voice was a steady thread inside the chaos. "Enemy leader is here," he said. "They call him Oliver Shaw. He moves fast between ridgelines. He pushes civilians ahead of him. He wants us to break formation." "He knows the valley," Hale said. "Better than we do," Liam answered. "But we know him. He is ruthless. He records his work. He spreads the footage at night." Noah stared at the hearth. In the ashes lay a rusted ammo box, scarred and pitted, caked with the brown of 100 rains. Someone had scrawled a faded name over it. Hale reached for it on instinct. Noah snorted a weak laugh. "That thing is older than the colonel," he said. "Older than the valley," another voice said from the wall. The squad chuckled. Tension needed a vent. Even under fire, men and women made room for it. Hale wiped the box with her sleeve. She had carried that same box for years out of habit and superstition. She had found it in a depot that smelled of oil and old rope. Men joked about it every time. They said it would turn to flakes if she breathed on it. They called it her secret purse. She never answered. She kept it close. Another mortar fell. Closer. The roof beam sagged and split and finally collapsed, sending ash up in a slow gray cloud. Liam glanced at the opening that used to be a window. The enemy had the angles now. Dragging the wounded would be a mistake. Staying would be, too. 2 minutes, he said. Then we move. Hale, I want your best eyes. Someone snickered. Best eyes in that tin box. Hale ignored him. She pried the lid. The hinge squealed like a field mouse. Inside lay a rolled cloth, soft with use, and beneath it a battered scope cap and a coil of paracord. Liam frowned. You brought Kit in that? He asked. Not Kit, she said. She unrolled the cloth. The men around her leaned in. They saw crisp paper inside plastic sleeves. Signatures. Dates. Photos of numbered targets. Groupings tight as coins. A seal with a crest and a Latin motto few could read. A second set, older, with foreign stamps. Confirmed hits from training meets that most soldiers only heard about. She slid out one laminated card. It read National Sniper Trials, Mountain Division, 1st. Below that was her name. There was a second card beside it. International Invitational, Wind Plateau. Top 3. She had been asked to teach, not only shoot. She had done both. No one spoke for a moment. The hut seemed to tilt. Gunfire still cracked outside, but the sound felt far away. Noah's eyes widened. You carry your certificates in a rust box, he said. So they do not end up on a wall, Hale answered. Walls can burn. Liam's mouth twitched, almost a smile. He lifted the next page. It listed distances, wind calls, moving target drills at dusk. He read quietly. Then he straightened and handed the page back. In 3 strides he was at the gap, eyes on the line of scrub across the wadi. "You came in as a regular rifle," Liam said without looking back. "They lost my file in a transfer," Hale said. "The box kept the rest." Liam nodded. He turned. The calm in his eyes had sharpened. Choice lived there. Duty. Also a debt to the people in the low houses by the stream, to the old man who had lined their pockets with flatbread, to a girl who had pressed a tin car into Noah's hand at dawn. "Our drone says Oliver is at the stone archway. He has 8 around him. He will push through to the school if we fail. Can you take him from here?" Hale lifted her rifle. She popped the old cap free. She checked the dope. She tasted iron in her mouth. The wind slid down the slope like a river in reverse. Left to right at 4 or 5 knots. Heat shimmer. Mirage slanted. She built a stable base from the hearth bricks. She found the archway with her scope. The world narrowed. The ring of the reticle sat like a small moon on the far rocks. Figures moved in crescents. A man raised a hand. He wore a black scarf and a radio on his chest. "Range 600, she said. "Sloping shot." He leans in on the radio. "That is him." "Confirm," Liam said. Confirmed. Her finger found the wall of the trigger. She breathed and let out half. The ring sat steady. Memory and muscle spoke in a language older than fear. Brotherhood moved behind her as the squad prepared to bound. In her eye, the man lifted a child's backpack to shield his chest. Oliver laughed and shoved the child aside. He stepped clear, bold and sure, as if the valley belonged to him. Hale's shot broke. The ridge spat the sound back at them. Something moved at the last instant behind Oliver. The bullet struck, but the crosshair had already revealed the truth. The man who fell was not Oliver. It was a decoy with the same scarf. The real Oliver sprang up behind the arch with a long tube on his shoulder. He aimed it straight at the ruined hut. The tube flashed white. The tube flashed white. Hale did not think. She threw her shoulder into Noah and drove him behind the hearth. Colonel Liam folded over the radio man and pulled him under the fallen beam. The rocket smashed the wall. Light and grit filled the hut. The blast punched the air from their lungs. Dust turned noon into a storm. Ears rang. Mouths tasted metal. The world went soft for a count of 3. Hale blinked until shapes returned. Noah's lips moved. No sound reached her. She dragged him toward the back gap and shoved him through. The next rocket hissed in and shattered what was left of the front wall. Stone and splinters clawed her back. She kept moving. Outside, the ridgeline curved like a broken spine. Heat shimmered over the wadi. Hale rolled onto her belly and brought the rifle up. Through the glass, the archway was a tight frame of rock and shadow. Oliver stood behind the arch, lean and certain. He rested the launcher on a sandbag. He was smiling. Beside him, a boy in a gray shirt held a phone and filmed. Hale breathed and held. She felt the wind push, slow and steady. She moved the crosshair to the launch tube, not the face. She pressed. The shot cracked. The tube's tail jumped. Backblast ripped and the sandbag caught fire. The boy dropped the phone and scrambled. Oliver ducked and rolled behind cover. He came up laughing, then put 2 fingers to his throat and spoke into a radio. Her radio crackled to life. Hearing rushed back in pieces. "Hale." Liam's voice cut through the static. "Good shot. We are moving right. Sector green path. Civilians coming out near the stream. Oliver will push them into our lanes." "I see them," she said. A line of figures stumbled from the scrub. Women and boys and an old man with a cane. Oliver's fighters walked behind them. The fighters fired in short, loud bursts to scare them forward. Noah crawled beside Hale and lifted his rifle, then froze. "I have the grandmother," he said. "Blue scarf." "Hold fire," Hale said. "Let them clear the line." Her heart thudded in time with the rounds. Duty pulled one way. Morality pulled the other. She kept the glass steady on the man with the radio. She watched his mouth for cues. She watched his shoulders. She watched Oliver's eyes in the edge of the arch. "Colonel," she said, "I will break their comms." "Do it," he said. She took the shot. The radio man's handset exploded against his jaw. He pitched sideways and reached for his ear. The file behind the civilians wavered. A fighter shouted. He swung his rifle toward the sky, as if the threat lived in clouds. The civilians broke and ran toward the stream. Oliver stepped to the arch again. The boy in gray lifted the phone and filmed his face. Oliver raised a finger and pointed straight at the ruined hut. Then he cut his throat with his thumb. A promise. Or a vow. Hale felt fury rise like heat. Noah tapped her shoulder. His face was white. "Our radio man is bleeding out," he said. "Colonel says we fall back to the school. He wants you on overwatch." Hale glanced at the rusted box, half buried in dust. She dug it out with one hand and slung it on her pack. The squad bounded in pairs along the ridge, hunched and fast. The stream flashed silver below them. Houses squatted by the water with walls patched in tin and wood. Dogs barked at nothing. Cook's smoke drifted thin and gray. They reached the school as the sun tipped toward the far ridge. The courtyard was pitted and scarred. A chalkboard lay face down. A swing set leaned in the corner. Liam checked doors. Noah set a tourniquet for the radio man and pressed gauze. The man clutched Noah's wrist and whispered. Noah leaned close to hear, then nodded again and again. Hale climbed to the roof ladder and settled behind a water tank. The rust box sat by her knees. She opened it and pulled a folded chart. Wind, density, altitude, spin, drift. The ink had bled at the edges. She could read it by touch now, but she kept the chart near. She lifted the scope and searched the ridge. Oliver's fighters were ghosts between stones. One after another they appeared and vanished. She took two when they lined up careless. The rest dropped low. Dusk slid over the valley. Air cooled. The stream darkened to slate. Liam crawled up beside her. "Intel says Oliver will shift to the east saddle after dark," he said. "From there, he can fire into the village lanes. We cannot wait. We hit him before he sets up." "You want a raid," she said. "I want him finished," Liam said. He looked at her hands. "You good?" "I am fine," she said. "Good. You lead the glass. Noah takes second. I will take the door team. We move at last light." He climbed down. Hale watched him cross the yard with a small limp he hid from the others. The radio man breathed shallow on a blanket. Noah wrote on a scrap of ration box. He folded it and tucked it into his vest pocket beside the photo. "What is that?" she asked. "Letter for my grandmother," he said. "In case." "Give it to me," Hale said. "I will carry it in the box." He hesitated, then placed it on the folded chart. His fingers shook. She closed the lid and felt the cold iron against her palm. They left the school at blue hour. The squad moved like shadows along the irrigation walls. Crickets scraped. Somewhere a goat bleated. The east saddle rose in a dark curve above the stream. Far along the ridge, a single light winked. It blinked twice. Then again. Signal or taunt? Hard to tell. Hale took a knee behind a boulder and swept the glass. The archway was empty now. The sandbag still smoked. She panned right. She saw movement near a line of stacked stones. A narrow shape angled against the night. A tripod. A camera. Oliver liked a stage. He wanted witnesses. He wanted fear. Her radio hissed. A voice came thin and wet with static. The language was local. The words were clear. "Sniper woman," the voice said. "You carry your papers in a pretty box. Come closer. Let us film how you aim." Noah jerked. "How does he know?" he whispered. "He watched the hut," she said. "He has spotters everywhere." Liam's whisper cut in. "Stay on task. We are 30 meters from the saddle cut. On my mark, Hale takes the ridge crest. We breach at the camera." Hale drew a breath. She felt the world narrow again. She rose, stepped, and flowed to the next rock. Noah moved with her. The air smelled of dust and crushed time. She reached the crest and leveled the rifle. She slid her eye into the glass. A figure stood at the tripod. The scarf, the lean face, the smile. Oliver. He looked into the lens. He lifted a detonator in his hand and raised it toward the camera, as if he offered a gift. Hale's finger found the trigger wall. From the corner of her eye, a small red light winked by Noah's boot. A thin nylon line ran from the rock to a dull metal disc half buried in dust. Noah had stepped on a pressure plate. The line quivered. The detonator in Oliver's hand began to dip. The red light blinked at Noah's boot. The nylon line trembled. Hale's stomach dropped. She lunged, grabbing Noah's vest, and yanked him backward. His boot slipped clear. The plate sank with a soft click. The charge detonated. The mountain roared. Fire spat from the dust. Shrapnel fanned out. Hale's arm stung where a fragment tore flesh. Noah screamed, clutching his side. The blast left a smoking crater where he had stood. From the ridge, Oliver laughed. His voice carried even through the crackle of fire. "Sniper woman, you save one, lose two. Come closer. Let us see your face." Hale pulled Noah behind a rock. Blood spread under her hands, hot and slick. She pressed bandage and tourniquet. Noah's eyes darted wild. He gasped, "Don't let him film me. Don't let him show me weak." "You are not weak," she said. "You are alive." Liam's voice rasped in a radio. "Status. Minor wound on me. Noah is hit bad. Oliver has eyes everywhere. He wants spectacle." "Copy. Keep him breathing. I'll flank left." Hale's vision tunneled. She forced her breath steady. The rust box sat wedged against the stone. She opened it, pulled out the folded chart, and slid Noah's letter inside. She tapped the box twice, a promise to him. Gunfire rattled down the slope. Oliver's fighters fired tracer bursts into the streambed to herd civilians. Shadows ran. Screams lifted and vanished into the night air. Hale adjusted the rifle. Through the scope, she saw Oliver holding the detonator like a trophy. His boy cameraman filmed every move. Oliver wanted the valley to see power. Hale whispered, "Not tonight." She shifted aim from the chest to the hand. Wind left to right 3 knots. Range 570. She squeezed. The round cracked. The detonator flew from Oliver's grip. He roared, clutching his hand. His cameraman ducked. But then the boy lifted the phone again, filming Hale's muzzle flash from across the valley. Oliver laughed through the pain. He shouted, "Your box tells your story. Tomorrow they will burn it on film." A cold shock ran through Hale. How did he know about the box? No one outside the squad had seen it. No one except. She snapped her head to Noah. He was pale, fading. His lips moved. "I told a villager once about your papers months ago. They listen everywhere." His breath rattled. "I didn't think they cared." Hale's jaw clenched. Betrayal, but unmeant. Just a boy's trust in the wrong ears. She gripped his hand tight. Liam's voice cut in. "I'm inside the saddle cut. Oliver is moving. He wants high ground. We can't let him reach the camera site." Hale shifted, dragging Noah deeper behind cover. Her arm throbbed. Dust clung to her teeth. She set her scope back on the ridge. Through the glass, Oliver's silhouette vanished into shadow. Fighters fanned out. Then the camera light blinked again, brighter, wider, like a beacon. Behind it, something larger loomed. Not a tripod. A launcher. Twin tubes angled skyward. A surface-to-air system. Liam cursed in the radio. "If he sets that, our support birds cannot enter the valley. He will own the sky." The boy cameraman tilted the phone, framing the launcher with Oliver beside it. They wanted the world to see. Hale whispered to herself, brotherhood, duty, or morality. Her finger found the trigger wall again. Before she could fire, a shadow rose at the ridge beside Oliver. A cloaked figure. Another fighter? No. The figure held something in both hands. A heavy case. Its outline glowed under the moon. It looked exactly like Hale's rusted ammo box. Her blood ran cold. The figure held the case high, a mirror image of Hale's rusted ammo box. Moonlight scraped the metal. Oliver pointed to it and laughed, his voice booming across the valley. 2 boxes. One with her papers, one with mine. Let us see whose story ends first. Hale's gut tightened. This wasn't chance. Oliver had staged it. He wanted to break her not with bullets, but with shame. The cameraman zoomed in on the case as if it carried sacred proof. Noah coughed blood. His hand trembled as he reached for her sleeve. "Don't let him make you a show." His voice cracked like dry leaves. She pressed her forehead to his. "Stay with me. I won't let him." Liam's whisper cut the night. "Hale, that case is bait. He wants you to reveal yourself." "Copy," she said. But her chest burned. If Oliver had forged something that resembled her records, it would be propaganda. He'd spread it through villages, claim he stripped her identity, twist her into a false trophy. She steadied her rifle. The reticle centered on the case. She could end the farce with a single shot. The camera light flared again. Oliver raised his wounded hand, still bleeding, and pressed it to the box. Then he barked orders. 2 fighters dragged a civilian woman forward, tied at the wrists. They shoved her beside the launcher. Her headscarf was torn, her face streaked with dust. She sobbed once, then bit her lip until blood ran. Oliver spread his arms, theatrically. He pointed from Hale's distant perch to the woman. "Choose," he shouted. "Save her or save your papers." Her breath locked. The reticle hovered between the case and the woman's chest. Duty screamed one way. Morality screamed the other. The valley fell silent except for the whisper of wind through stone. Noah wheezed. His voice came faint. "Shoot the man, not the game." Hale blinked. The words cut through the fog. Not the case. Not the hostage. Oliver. Always Oliver. She shifted aim. The reticle sat on his temple. She exhaled and pressed. The shot cracked. Dust exploded beside his head. He ducked. The round missed by inches. "Move." Liam roared in her radio. Gunfire erupted below as his team engaged. Tracers carved lines through the dark. Fighters scattered. The cameraman screamed, phone spinning. Hale dragged Noah deeper into cover. Her arm bled freely now, her sleeve soaked. She gritted her teeth, shoved a rag into the wound, and chambered again. The launcher tubes began to pivot. A fighter slapped a battery pack into place. Sparks spat. Power flowed. In seconds they'd be ready to fire into the sky. Liam's voice was strained, panting. "We're pinned at the cut. Hale, if that system goes live, everything burns. It's you." Her eyes burned. Her chest hammered. She thought of Noah's letter folded in the rusted box. She thought of his grandmother's scarf. She thought of every soldier who would never get air cover if she failed. She locked the reticle onto the launcher's core. Not the men, not the hostage. The heart of the weapon. The wind shifted. Mirage swam. She adjusted. Her finger pressed. The world split in two as the round punched metal. Sparks flared. Then the tubes erupted, fire spewing backward. The fighters screamed as the blast consumed them. The camera spun into the dirt. The civilian woman dropped flat, untouched by inches. Oliver emerged from the smoke, his scarf blackened, his smile gone. His eyes locked on Hale's distant perch. He raised his wounded hand like a vow. "I will take your box with my own hands," he bellowed. Then he vanished into the stone, swallowed by the mountain's dark veins. The valley went quiet. Only the crackle of burning metal and Noah's ragged breath remained. Hale touched the rusted box at her side. For the first time, its weight felt heavier than steel. The valley smoldered. Flames licked the ruined launcher, black smoke twisting into the night sky. Hale pressed a bandage tighter on Noah's wound. His face was pale, his lips cracked. Each breath rattled like gravel in his chest. Liam climbed to her position. Dust streaked his beard. His eyes burned with fatigue, but his voice was steady. "The system is down. Air support can come. But Oliver is gone." "He's not gone," Hale said. She tapped the rusted box. "He swore to come for this." Liam crouched, studying Noah. He shook his head once, a soldier's silent truth. Hale's chest clenched. Noah stirred, whispering, "Tell her the scarf is still blue." His hand went slack. The photo of his grandmother slipped from his vest. Hale caught it and pressed it flat against her heart. Liam closed Noah's eyes. His jaw flexed, but no words came. Silence was their only prayer. They carried Noah back to the school by dawn. Villagers crept from hiding, faces hollow but alive. Children clung to mothers. The old man with the cane raised his hand to his chest, bowing as they passed. In their eyes was sorrow, but also gratitude. They had seen the fire fall on the mountain, and they knew who had stopped it. On the school roof, Hale laid the rusted box before Liam. The hinges groaned as she opened it. Inside lay the sniper certificates, the folded chart, Noah's letter, and the photo of his grandmother. Liam touched the edge of the chart, then looked at her. "You could hang these on a wall. Let people know what you are." "Walls burn," she said. "This box keeps the truth." He nodded slowly. Then his voice lowered. "But now Oliver knows. He will hunt it. Hunt you. That box is more than papers now. It is a flag. He will want to tear it down." Hale closed the lid. The sound was final, like a seal pressed into wax. She lifted it into her pack. "Then let him come. I'll be ready." A rumble cut through the air. Helicopters swept and low, rotors beating the valley awake. Dust spiraled up as they landed in the schoolyard. Medics jumped out, rushing to the wounded. Civilians shaded their eyes, some crying, some cheering. Hale climbed aboard last. She sat by the door, the rusted box across her knees. Through the smoke and rising sun, she saw the ridge. Oliver was still out there, watching. She felt his eyes like a blade. The bird lifted. The valley shrank below. Villagers waved, tiny shapes against the scars of war. Hale pressed her hand to the box. Noah's letter was inside. His grandmother's scarf still blew in the photo. A reminder of why she fought. Liam leaned close so only she could hear. "This war doesn't end here. Oliver will strike again. And when he does, he'll come for you first." Hale's gaze stayed fixed on the mountains. The box was heavy in her lap, but it steadied her. "Then I'll be waiting." The helicopter climbed into the dawn, carrying them toward the next fight, the next choice, the next test of who would endure. The valley below still burned, but the people stood. The rusted box had survived again, and the hunt between Hale and Oliver was far from over.